What is going on, guys? Bingo here. I'm with the Duel Factory for the 16th installment of X-2 Drop, a weekly Yu-Gi-Oh podcast we do, talking about the meta, events in the community, or just anything we feel like fucking talking about, because it's what we do. So a couple of hours ago, the NAWCQ, or the World Championship Qualifier, concluded with Danger Thunders with some Crusadia cards in there. They ended up taking it. But it wasn't really a surprise with the top cut turnout. It was what we expected, with top 8 being 3 Danger Thunder, 2 Salamangreat, 2 Striker, and 1 Orcust. It was almost a perfect split between the best 4 decks. So this format was very fleshed out. It's coming to an end. You know, we got a ban list in about a week and a half, 2 weeks probably. But I couldn't see this turning out any differently. Joe, how'd you feel the NAWCQ went?
How did I feel about the event?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the best deck won for sure. Hashtag Thunder Dragon for life. In terms of representation, I mean, it was to be expected of what was going to be represented. If you watch the stream, there's a lot of Rogue on stream, which I thought was kind of weird. Also notable, we almost had a 100% Mystic Mind burn free stream, but then a Konami rep thought, hey, let's stream Dragon Duel Finals instead of top 16. And Lord and behold, a child was playing Mystic Mind burn. And it just ruined the stream for me.
Yeah, I get the whole Dragon Duels thing. It's cool, but like, we have so much downtime. I want to watch top 16. Like, that's why I'm watching this event, for the event coverage, not a side event. So that was a little bit upsetting. But like we were talking about earlier, the top 4 decks of this format are leaps and bounds ahead of any of the Rogue. And you saw it early on. You saw Rogue like you always do. But, you know, after round 6 or 7, it was the top 4 decks were easily the top 4 decks. And I wanted to talk about how that, what was it, like a month or 2 ago when the format started, there was a lot more Rogue in the format. And what do you feel like changed from that to this? Because, I mean, the decks have always been the decks. I mean, after Dark Neostorm, Orcust took over. Sky Striker's been around since, let me check, April of last year. And Salamangreat's, 2 months old? So we knew what was coming, but what made Pendulum Magician get out of the format? Cyber Dragons, like all these other Rogue tier decks, like, where'd they go?
I just think, like, after Dark Neostorm came out, it was when it was most notable. The power levels of the meta decks just, like, grew so exponentially that it was just impossible for Rogue to, like, keep up. Because, like, you look at it, a lot of people were citing the no material, like we were talking about. And for certain decks, like, that's just like an auto loss because they don't know how to play around it. Like, if that was the example I was going to give, was in the top 4 match with Salamangreat and Thunder. If the Thunder player had been paying it, or no, I'm sorry, this was the top. It was either the top 32 or it was top 32. It was Bobby Kenny. He was playing some 60-card Orcust soup deck. We'll go with that, right? And it was a Thunder Dragon player. And the Thunder Dragon player had a bunch of monsters on board, and he had Crusadia Reclusia, and he turned it into Magius because he was going to do the play, right?
Yeah. Well, that was in game 3, I remember.
Yeah, the Magius gets no material, which is no problem, right? Because he can still make a Phoenix and then turn the other Tsuchinoko, because he had he had 3 Tsuchinoko on board at one point, but he had another different name monster, and he had plenty of cards to make the Phoenix, then make the Unicorn, to spin the Magius, and he just didn't see the play. Like, that's why, honestly, that Thunder Dragon player should have had that game 3 easy. He just didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a common line of play, but I'm assuming, like, was that Thunder player, was he a known player? Was he relatively new? Have you ever heard of him?
Well, it couldn't have been that new. I mean, this man made top 32 at the biggest event in the world. Well, in North America, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's not your average, like, that's not your average line of play. It doesn't come up very often. No materials new. So I could see missing that. especially not being a combo player, because when you are a combo player, you got to prepare for it. So
Also, you got to see the power level of like how a meta deck versus everything else. And I'm going to use Danger Thunder again because you got to see this. So there was a match that me and you were watching, and then you didn't like the Thunder Dragon player because he was slow playing, but I mean he was slow playing. This was the Brandon Rayos versus the Weebly match, and the Solomon Great player just opened nice. I'm talking.
Yeah,
nice.
he opened fire.
Like,
he got, what did he get? Rage off of
he got
Foxy
Rage
for free, and then
oh my god, it's so good.
he opened the
Rage
stones.
Permanent Circle. Whew. Combo plus Lancey and Ash in hand.
Yep.
And then
There's no reason he should have lost that game.
Zero. Like this Thunder Dragon player had to play through an Ash, Lancia, 3 back row, and Solomon Great combo, and just pulled it off.
Yeah, I mean the NAWCQ is pretty nice, but that Crusadia engine that is just showing what it can do.
Well, yeah, you just do Crusadia plays because you're under Lancia, and the next thing you know, like you've resolved multiple Saryujas. You just draw it's just like it just made the deck evolve so much further because like you're just playing Crusadia cards, and then you're just doing nothing but drawing into straight gas before you even have to play it, and it's just unfair at that point. Which it's like the best way I can compare it is with Thunder Dragon. Is if you go all the way back to 2012, because there was like Wind Up, Dino Rabbit, and all this deck and everything. Everyone thought those were like the most powerful decks, and then Chaos Dragon came out, and then like the power level of that deck was just so much higher than the other decks. Like it's just insane.
Okay, so talking about Danger Thunder a lot, and that's because it is clearly the most powerful deck, right? There's just no question. Sky Striker is, I think, the best control deck. Solomon Great's the most consistent deck, and Orcus is like a jack of all trades, master of none. It's not the most powerful, but it can pop off. Kind of is susceptible to hand traps a lot more than the other 3 decks of the format, but they all have their trade-offs. But with Rogue, with hand traps being so prevalent, no material, Ash Veiler, and Permanence all being in the main deck, Phantasme, like Rogue just kind of falls off the side because that's the problem with them, right? They can't play through two forms of interruption going first on 5 cards.
They're just so Rogue decks it's not like past Yu-Gi-Oh formats where like you can sit down and test for a while and then like you can just be just as good as the Rogue deck as the other players are with meta decks. We're just like the current meta that we have is just so far past that. Especially with like its actual engines, because like material deck, but then like you just play through it. Like you get Lancia, but then like other decks have supplemental engines that are better than it.
Yeah, the problem is like like you're saying, it's not just the better player wins. It's just like you physically, there is no way for you to play through 1 or 2 forms of interruption with certain decks. Like I'm a huge Invoked fan, but like if you just open one play and it gets stopped, like that's the deck, So there are some Rogue tier that I still think can compete, like that Burning Abyss deck. That was pretty fire. Like,
that Burning Abyss deck was just saucy.
Like that was probably the most excited I was for a feature match up until Top Cut. Pendulum Magician, I think it's going to have its format soon, or Pendulum the deck. I don't even know what to call it anymore. I think after the ban list, it'll definitely have at least a small spotlight before the deck pans out, because a Pendulum will never be the best deck, right? It just won't.
I don't know about that one.
I mean, there's so many counters to it. Like, once it is the best deck, it's going to be sided for so much that it's not going to be able to play.
And then we'll hear people complaining about anti-spell fragrance again.
Yeah, anti-spell, fucking, if it's bad enough, D-barrier, just...
Yeah, I just think now that we're so far into the future of Yu-Gi-Oh!, there's just so many established ways to stop it. But like you said, at the beginning in the format, that's what's going to be really good. Jeremy Mitchell, I mean, he only plays Pendulum. He got top 64 at Nats this year, but he couldn't get past top 64, and he just got beat by a standard Orcus deck.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying it's... Like, I've gotten bodied by Pendulum before. Like, I'm not saying it's not a good deck. It's just... it's this format, the one that's about to end, definitely was not its time to shine. Main deck back row removal, twin twisters, heavy storm, duster, typhoon, like it just wasn't its time to shine. So depending on where it goes, which I still feel like it's going to be a relative control format, depending on how badly Thunder gets hit, because that is like the best combo deck, and that's the only deck in the format that doesn't play back row.
We'll see how it goes, because next weekend we have the EU WCQ, which I'm actually super excited for, because EU Nationals is always wild.
Oh yeah,
so
I can't wait for BA to get top 4. Just
walk, Woody, bro. It's gonna win again.
Back to back.
We're going back to back. This is gonna be easy, bro.
All right, so looking forward after this event and after next week, because I think it's, what is it, the second or the third, no earlier than. What do you hope the format shifts into? Because honestly, Sky Striker, as much as I would love to continue to play it, it's clearly still too strong to be able to contend after, I mean, technically 2 hits, but after Kagari going to 1, a lot of people thought that would just make it a good deck, right? It's a good deck. It's still just nuts getting top decking engaged and ending with 7 cards. And Thunder is just out of control. Like I Saryuji to 1, like ban everything. I don't know. What do you want to happen after this format? Because I have quite a few things that I would like to change, but I don't feel like any of these decks should die. I don't think they're too over the top.
I don't think anything should die, but
except Striker. Sorry. It's been 14 months. Like, go away.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of the end of Duelist Alliance format and a little bit of a Dragon Ruler format, where everyone was just like, all these decks are out of control, which Thunder to me is the most out of control right now. Like, it just doesn't matter what you do to it.
Yeah, there's just so many supplemental engines and so many ways you can do the same thing you're trying to do. Like, they'd have to ban like 7 cards, right, just to make it not be able to do what it's trying to do.
I mean, there's kind of a problem where that lies in there too, because like you were watching, like if you were watching the finals, like Cody Angeloff like almost didn't even use Thunder cards. They were literally just Chaos cards, and like that's scary because that deck is like the namesake of the deck is Danger Thunder, and like you just didn't see Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why it's called Thunder Dragon. Like the Thunder is just a supplemental engine, like. I mean, there's like 7 supplemental engines, so I guess it's just the most impactful sub-engine. But it should be like Danger Chaos, like legitimately. Because the Thunder engines, they're either a rank 8 or just a Colossus you slap on the board. And you get a couple free summons here and there from like Roar getting banished. But for the most part, it's just combo the deck. And I'm going to end with a couple of things.
It could be worse. We could still have snow.
No, well, then I feel like a heavier Thunder deck would probably be the better option, because it would just be turbo curious into setting up the control, because when you get a +3 from resolving snow in your opponent's turn, it's pretty crazy.
It's a little insane. But like, it has to be addressed at this point, because it's gone 2 lists now where they didn't really do anything to it, and like it's just bullying every other deck. Like you said with Striker, like you've already put Kagari to 1, and like it's just a good deck, and like what it can play makes it good. Like you basically gave it the best copy of Swords Revealing Light ever printed, and like that showed on stream. Like people were just playing Striker, and then they ran out of cards, and then they just Mystic Mine their opponent, and like you just waited 7 turns and then killed them.
Yeah,
like,
it didn't really show up in Top Cut, but like I did that to a Danger Thunder player. Like, I just didn't have a way to clear his board, but I had Mystic Mine, so I just sat on it, because until I get the gas to clear everything, like I don't have to do anything. And I think that's a good check to Danger Thunder right now. Like, if that card sticks, because I don't really know what else they could do, because like they're not going to ban Levianeer. Like, what are they going to ban? Roar?
I don't know, man.
That would hurt. Levianeer is great.
insane.
It is
Like,
a great card, but
the
like
amount of times I just watched it get dropped from a top deck and the guys just ended the whole man's career. I couldn't believe it. Like, that card's a reborn, pop 2, rip a card, 3K, dragon, like, level 8. Like, it's just insane.
searchable off Brotar.
Like, to me, that card just has to go.
I don't
Because,
know.
like, you're solving future problems in itself, because that card, as long as there's decks that play light and dark monsters, and there's always going to be decks that play light and dark monsters that need a broken extender type ish card that's just a blowout.
Yeah, that's just like a fucking all in like
card's just gonna fucking see play because it's so good.
Like I don't think they'll ban Roar, which I feel like is one of the key pieces, but you know what I'd like to see gone is the fucking Wyver Burster.
Either ban the Wyver Burster or just get rid of the Guard Dragons.
That's not happening.
I feel like if you take LP, well...
yeah, it's like, if you don't have LP, there'll be some BS combo with Pitsy, and then, like...
I don't know, I kind of stand by Phoenix Flare, where LP is almost to that point where it's ban-worthy, but Argapane is 100% ban-worthy. Just being able 2 dragons to make an Omni Negate, like, come on now.
Yeah, 3,500 after Saryuja.
Yeah, like, it's just like, oh, you can play Guard Dragons? That means you can play an Omni Negate for free. Sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, a double Helix for a dragon out of the deck is pretty wild. Like, with LP. I don't know
like
what they... Yeah. I mean, there's just so much... See, we keep bouncing around from card to card, and it's like, yeah, that could get banned, that could get... Like, there's so many power cards in that deck where you would really have to sit down and grind and, like, think about how to just murder the deck, because it's so resilient. There's so many different ways that... Okay, so, like, I mean, they would never do this, but Solar gets banned. Like, it's really not a big deal, or... Wyver Burster gets banned. We could figure it out.
I'm saying now it's not even that big of a deal if you do anything to Solar, because I just looked at Cody Angelo's list. It's only played 1 Solar, and then another list didn't even play it. Just played the Crusadia cards to supplement it. Like, what do you really do? Because the deck just keeps evolving.
Yeah. And that is the problem, because, like you said, it's not even Thunder. Like, you could ban Colossus. They'd be like, okay, I'm still going to play my insane deck that ends on 2 to 3 negates with 2 cards ripped out of your hand.
It's just... Well, yeah, because, like, say we follow suit like the OCG, right? And then, like, they put Colossus to 1.
That does nothing.
Matter.
That does nothing.
Like, I was watching people, like, they just use the 1 Colossus to combo into a rank 8, and, like, I was watching Phoenix Flare stream that I was watching, because he was showing how powerful this deck is even post-ban list. Like, they're just using the Dark on the field with the Crusadia Arborea to make Borreload Savage, and then, like, their boards are ending on... He was ending on, like, Heraldic Seal, Hot Red, 38, Savage, or if you had enough gas in hand, you ended on another rank 8. Like, it does nothing.
Yeah, the Thunder... Like, it shouldn't even be called Thunder, like I said earlier. So, I have no idea what they're going to do. If they do want to just kill the deck... They need a lot of work, and I feel like this is a great time for Konami to do a hard reset of the game and just, like, kill the best decks and see what happens, because we got some interesting archetypes coming out in the future, but Sky Striker needs to die. Salamangreat's a budget deck. Like, who cares?
And that's another thing too. Like, it's too early to do anything to Orchest or Salamangreat, really, because they just got their time to shine.
Who you remember DDD? Like, that don't matter. Okay, like Orchest, other than Orchestrated Nightmare, has been out for a minute, right? Like, how long was Structure Deck Monarch meta?
How long what?
How long was the Monarch Structure Deck meta for?
The Monarch Structure Deck, that came out the week after... A couple weeks after Breakers of Shadow came out.
Yeah, so I think it was relevant for a couple of months, right?
Yeah, and then they just put Pantheism and stuff.
Yeah, they just killed it because you spent your $30, you got to enjoy it. Now move on. And Sky, like I said, Sky Striker is just the problem is Sky Striker is getting that reprint in what, October or August?
Wait, what?
The Sky Striker stuff's getting reprinted in like August, right?
Oh yeah, I thought you said October. Like what? But yeah, it's all getting reprinted. But Konami's done that before, because I remember when the Mega Tens came out, everyone was excited to play Shadal and all that stuff, and the next thing you know, Construct banned, and they're like, well...
Was that before or after they came out?
It was like right after the Tens.
Yeah, I mean, they did that with Zoo, with the Mega Tens, but that still gave them 2 to 3 weeks after the Mega Tens before they got hit. So I don't want to put up with... I mean, I will, because I play it, but I don't think the community should have to put up with Sky Striker until... the end of August when the deck came out in April or May of 2018.
You're just bullying people at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the deck is cool. I think it's really fun. I think the mirror match is a lot more interesting now than it was pre-Kagari going to 1. Like I think it's very intricate and a lot more fair because...
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right. I didn't really notice any breakout tech cards this weekend.
No, not really, other than the Jesse Cotton giving us a show for the points qualifier thing. But I mean, like...
That was cute.
Other than that, there's just no breakout cards. And then, like, people were talking about we're trying to keep their side decks private after YCX Knoxville and stuff like that. But there was just, like, nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, it was super expected. Twin Twister, Lancia, no material. Droll popped up a little bit.
Yeah, but Droll popped up in decks I didn't think should be playing Droll. Like, Sky Striker has no business playing Droll.
No, absolutely
but like
not.
people were just playing it anyway because they're like, well, I don't know what else to side. I'm just like, you literally can side anything else.
I mean, you can kind of look at Droll as like another sort of Lancia against Danger Thunder because it hurts a lot. But it definitely doesn't have the impact, and it's a neg 1. Like, it's not worth playing.
Yeah.
Oh, for anybody that didn't see the Jesse Cotton thing he's talking about, it's playing Utopia double and double or nothing in Sky Striker, and it's hilarious.
Like, he just murdered people.
Yeah, 10k damage to the face.
He just looking like, you guys want to see something funny? And we're like, hell yeah, we want to see something funny. He's like, all right, watch.
He's like, I'm going to Worlds, so I can do whatever I want.
That's basically what it was. He's like, I'm about to end this man's whole career. And he did. Like, he just murdered him. Like, it wasn't even fair. Like, we're just I couldn't believe what I was watching. Oh, I'm in a losing situation. Doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden, I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? He made Utopia. I'm like, why is he making Utopia? And then I'm like, oh my god. Man, he memed so hard.
Yeah, and they were talking about it all weekend, the commentators. Like, it came up at least once a match.
It was insane.
Oh, can we talk about the North American commentators for a minute? Just please.
All right.
Like, have they played the game before? Obviously, Billy Brake. Like, I love Billy. Like,
Everyone loves Billy.
He's a good guy. He's America's hero. But everybody else, like, have they played the fucking game before?
I don't think.
Because they are asking the stupidest. Like, I feel like they haven't played since 2009.
It just goes to show you, they don't have anyone who actually knows what's happening. So, like, when Billy first started commentating, commentation was great. He just knew everything that was happening. Now, since he hasn't been playing the game and he just commentates, it's so bad.
Yeah, he just taught, like, every time he was commentating, if he would just bring up something from older formats, like 2-3 years ago, which is cool. Like, I like it. But we're supposed to be talking about what's going on, and I don't care about your Infernoid deck.
This is why, like, the EU commentators are just so much better, because you have people like Marcello and stuff like that who still play the game.
He is my favorite commentator out of everyone that I've seen.
I mean, you got to get past his thick Italian accent. But
Yeah, that's the best part about him.
He's just sitting there. You don't understand what he's saying, but he's Marcello Barberi, so you just sit down and understand.
Oh man, these fucking they like didn't know what half the fucking cards do, and like don't get me wrong, when they were watching the Vampire versus Cyber Dragon, I was like, I don't know what these fucking cards do because it doesn't matter. But when you're watching Sky Striker versus Salamangreat, like you should know basically what every card does.
Yeah, like they didn't like. Then I think the most triggering part for me were like the Sky, especially Sky Striker. And then they're like, oh, why didn't he activate Raise Effect to tag out into something else? I'm like, it says Extra Monster Zone.
Yeah.
And he just...
Like, at least once, so like, oh, he can do this. Like, he could play Widow Anchor, but he's got two monsters on the field, like one in the main monster zone. There was, why didn't he activate Raise Effect? Oh, he was under Dweller. Like, really stupid shit. Like, the deck is a year old.
It was just sad, man.
I mean, I guess it's frustrating because like I play the deck, so I assume everybody knows exactly what it does because that's how it should be.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's coming from a guy who still has to read fucking Dante.
It's that Douglas French theory, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you just pretend not to know and you try to do something, you'll be fine.
Easy.
Actually, no, because oh man, there were some pretty horrible game losses issued out. The one I'm thinking of is the guy. It was a Sky Striker mirror match. The guy on the left, I don't know who the fuck it was. He was dominating. It was game 2. It was 1-0. He was up, and his opponent he activated multi-roll first thing in the turn. It was like 5 or 6 minutes later. He activated Widow Anchor to take the Shizuku. And he tried to activate Eagle Booster. And he got a game loss for that. Like, that's
just unfortunate.
Yeah, he was in a very commanding position that would have given him 2-0. And then he just ended up losing to a high direct attack.
I think the worst one is you saw a lot of slow playing get issued out in this Nationals too, and that was kind of interesting to see. Like the very first day, the point playoff. This is the best one. So, Cody Angeloff was playing Altergeist, and why he was playing Altergeist, I have no idea. Didn't matter because he didn't get that. He didn't get his World's invite there. He got it by winning the event. He did it the hard way. But more or less, the Sky Striker player was just in a commanding position. Like Cody couldn't do anything, and apparently he had asked him earlier in the match because you can't hear anything whenever they're streaming the match. But he just asked him to play faster. And the guy was all right with it. And then the judge issued a slow play warning later on, and then it got appealed. I think it got appealed. And then they escalated it to a game loss. And then Cody Angeloff just wins the first round of the point playoff because of that. And that just goes to show you, like, even if you're a commanding position, if you're not paying attention and the has it out for you or something like that, you're just...
Yeah.
Choose your way to a win.
The Salamangreat versus Danger, I think it was in top 4, where the guy played through Ash, Lancia, 2 back row. I think it was game 2 of that one. No, it was definitely game 3. He tried to use Circle under Colossus, and he almost got a game loss for that.
You tried using what?
Salamangreat Circle under Colossus.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
that would have been...
You could hear him in the mic, like he was like freaking out. He's like just trying not to get a game loss because I mean it's top 4.
Yeah, well, no, that wasn't top 4.
Oh, that's top 8. Yeah, sorry.
That was trying to punch your ticket into Worlds.
But he didn't get there.
Oh no, because the Danger Thunder player out of nowhere just pushed at the last minute, and the guy didn't realize how low his life was.
All right, we're up on 30 minutes. I mean, we could probably go about this for a while, but we got the EU WCQ next week, so we'll be talking about more of the same shit. If you guys enjoy it, please stop by. Joe, you got any closing comments?
As always, Douglas French has no sauce.
Take that, Doug. All right. again, it's been Bingo and the Duel Factory. If you've enjoyed us, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Duel Factory and Bingo HD. And we will see you guys next week for X2 Drop.
Okay, bye.